Dear Lori, I have three boys, 7, 10, and 12. I'm having trouble getting my kids, mostly my older two, to watch less TV and follow the rule of 1.5 hours of video games or TV on school days. It seems all they want to do is hide in their rooms or stare at their screens, and it's a real battle when it comes time to turn off the games. They get loud, they complain, and sometimes it even becomes physical. How can I create healthy habits in my kids? I'm worried that they will turn out to be underachieving couch potatoes. Marie. Oh, Marie, if you could have just seen my house in the late 80s, early 90s, it kind of looks something like this. My parents had moved on from their after dinner backgammon game to after dinner cheering on Dr. Mario. And when I would see them escape into that world of video games, it used to make me angry. I felt disconnected. I felt like they disconnected from us. And sometimes they would let us kids play, but mostly it was their evening ritual. And frankly, an addiction that persists until this day. So, Marie, I completely understand your concern. Video games excite the reward centers of the brain, and like any addiction, that pleasurable feeling makes you want to return to it again and again. Now, I think that it's typical for kids to be initially excited by a game and want to play it all the time, and especially until that novelty wears off. Or maybe a kid with a real passion for computers may be driven to want more screen time. But if this is a pattern that persists, or interrupts the quality of your child's life or their relationships, then it may be something that you want to investigate further. Investigate what's the payoff that my kid is getting here, and how can they satisfy that urge in other ways. Boys especially can use these games as an escape from social pressure, academic pressure, anxiety, and then their relationships can suffer, and you can even see some personality changes. So what can you do? For many parents, the knee-jerk reaction is to reinforce the limit by being louder, more judgmental, more punitive, doling out consequences for noncompliance. But then you're always directing the outcome. And that just really makes kids mad. It may be a way to get what you want or need in that moment, but what about your kid? Dropping an addiction, whether it's drugs or shopping or video games, is going to require some support. First, you might want to find out, what do the video games do for my child? Not by saying, why do you play those games so much? You should be out playing outside, or I didn't play video games. I didn't have video games when I was a kid, or why do you even like those games? They're so violent. Why do you waste so much time with that junk? That's probably going to put your kids on the defensive. Most parents tend to judge or offer their opinion as a way to make their child aware of their feelings and needs, that need to feel responsible or protect your child. But I want you to begin to share authentically, not by attacking his choices, but by being interested in them. Try investigating the game. Do you know the storyline? Do you know the characters and their motivations, the features of the game? Why does he like to become these characters? What are his favorite qualities? This is going to give you some insight into some of his needs that maybe you aren't even aware of. Perhaps you can ask to play around. Say, hey, I want to see what you love about these games so much. Will you show me how it works? Once you find out what enjoyment and benefit your child is receiving and what need is being met for him, relaxation, companionship, does he connect online with others, maybe a sense of control or autonomy, stress relief, then you can begin to look into easing him into other activities that will also support those needs. Your child is going to need an alternate activity to replace the game so that he can learn to access the enjoyment or the pleasure or the challenge or the stress relief that he is seeking in another way. So is there an after-school activity, a musical instrument, a sport, something that he could participate in, maybe a local community project that he could volunteer with? And at this age of middle school, kids like to build things and like to work to create something of meaning or to be a part of something larger. So maybe after school is a time to find a passion and not escape through someone else's ideas. So my next tip is, check in with what you are modeling for your child as well. How much screen time do you allow yourself? Not even just TV, but your tablet, your mobile, or those laptop distractions. I also know that when I stare at my screen instead of my daughter, that I can only expect her to do the same. Or when she calls my name and I either don't hear it, or I don't answer, or I answer without looking up. So be honest with yourself and your kids if you happen to be guilty of loving your screen as much as they do. You can say to your kid, you know what? I think that I'm spending a lot of time on my computer as well, and I bet it feels unfair when I ask you to shut off your games and then I have my laptop open in the kitchen while I'm making dinner. So set limits on TV and screen time, but then help your child stick to them by holding the boundaries. Often we want to challenge our kids to keep within the boundaries, but if we can understand and expect that our kids are going to resist, test, challenge, fail, and run from our limits a lot throughout their childhood, because that's how they learn, then we can set ourselves up for success. But if we get upset every time they fail to meet an expectation, then we're kind of creating part of the problem rather than helping them learn better strategies, because learning becomes something that feels bad. When we use fear to instill lessons, they avoid the learning. So if the limit is 1 hour a day of TV, then help your child by going in and shutting off the TV when they can't, and then remain calm and understanding when they freak out about having to go through with their agreement. You can say to your child, I know you're upset and I'm going to help you keep our agreement because it's hard for you to stop playing right now. And you might also want to consider taking the screens out of the bedrooms and putting them in the family room. This way, it isn't a place for your child to escape into their own world and only be seen for feedings. And finally, be patient with change. Sometimes it takes kids a while to build skills and adapt to new routines or new rules or changes that affect their choice of fun or pleasurable experiences. Discipline is a muscle. It builds every day with persistence. It will get easier as they mature and as they learn to satisfy their needs for connection or relaxation in other ways. Marie, that was my teachable moment for you. I hope that you found it helpful, and of course I would love to know, so be sure to drop me a note or leave me a comment and let me know how it's going in your family. And if you want to be sure to get more tips and tools like this, then make sure you are subscribed to my email list. Visit teachwithlove.com and enter your name in the email. Now, did you like this video? Because if you did, I would love it if you would please like it and then share it on your favorite social media platform and spread the word. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's about consciousness, not perfection.